If you're settling for less than you deserve, this video is for you. Raising your standards will change everything. And here's exactly how. Hi my darlings, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Divine. Nice to meet you, nice to see you, nice to everything. Okay, hey. Being awkward, but it's okay because I am going to be myself in every single video, like it or not. Here I am. So let's talk about standards. Let's actually talk about this. Let's talk about this because I was a victim. I'm gonna say that in terms of my standards being extremely just down here. Yeah, I was a victim. I was one of those. Yep. And it didn't serve me. It didn't help me. It got me into a space where it really affected my life, affected my mental, affected my emotional, affected everything. Okay, it affected everything. So for years, like, I tolerated situations, relationships. When I say relationships, maybe like 2 or 3, or like dating scenarios, opportunities that did not serve me because I kept my standards to be low. When I say low, low. Okay. So once I decided enough is enough, I am going to raise my standards because what? Do you know who I am? Oh my God. This is actually what I say. I actually say, after a while, you're just like, hold on, do you actually know who I am though? Me. I was even being nice. I've been kind. I was just, But me being nice, being kind, being a people pleaser, being all of these things were making my standards go like this. I mean, still be nice, still be kind. Never stop doing that because that's naturally a good thing. But don't let that like decrease the standard of things in whatever situation you are in, basically. But anyway, let's talk about how we raise our standards, how I learned to raise my standard. At some point, I've had to relearn how to raise my standards. So listen, it's never a one-time thing and you're done. Maybe for some people, fantastic, but sometimes you need to revisit, you need to come back to it, go back to the drawing board, re-raise everything again. So yeah, again, if you see me looking down here, you know what it is. My notes, so I don't forget anything and I tell you every single thing. Okay, so it's tempting to accept what is so easy and familiar. Oh my gosh, it is so easy, you could just get into it again and then you're like, shit, I did it again. I told myself I was not going to do that. I told myself I wasn't going to let that person you go back again. So this is the video to help you come out of that completely. So without further ado, let me tell you what you can do and how to implement them today. The first thing is to define your non-negotiables. What is like non-negotiable? And that has to stay as that. Okay, put it as high as your values, like your values in life. There's no way I'm changing this because this is what it is, basically. So you need to identify what matters most in your relationships, because this, I can't lie, the whole standard thing usually happens in relationships, work, okay, and yourself, self-care, okay, with your own self. Top 3 places I'm telling you. Okay, so you need to identify what matters most to you in a relationship, even friendship. I'm gonna add friendships in there. Relationships, friendships, at work, and with yourself. Identify those, write them down. You know me, I'm a big believer in writing things down, pen to paper. If you want a digital, do your thumb business, do that, but write them down and keep them visible so that you are not backtracking. In the Christian world, they say backsliding, going back, going back to whatever it was where your standards were not that great. Okay, so you need to do that, and then you need to commit to acting only within your boundaries. Like, commit to what you've written, only act within your boundaries. Like, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm not coming outside of that. I'm not coming outside my non-negotiables. Okay, as I defined my standards, making decisions actually became a lot easier. It was easy for me to say no to things. Very easy. Used to find that difficult. I didn't want to hurt people's feelings, but over time, you know what to do after that. You do. No more second guessing. Second thing that I would like for you to do that I have done is to say no without guilt. This goes back to my last point. Like, it became a lot easier to say no without feeling guilty, without feeling bad, without feeling like I've hurt someone's feelings. It became very easy. So when you say no, this protects you. It protects your time and it protects your energy, because at the end of the day, if you don't want to do something, you don't want to do it. Nobody should force you to do something or put you in an environment where you're not comfortable, unless you're trying to reach your dream goals where you might have to be uncomfortable. That's a different scenario. I'm talking more in relation to people, in relation to being in a bad situation, etc., etc., environment. So, or just not wanting to be around negative energy. Like, it's okay to say no. It's okay to be like, I'm not going to take this opportunity. Even in something where it's like content creation, not every brand deal is a good brand deal. You know, do your research, say no. Like, don't feel pressured into things. So yeah, it protects your time and energy. It helps you practice assertiveness and being able to communicate and say no. When I say no, that means no. Do you know what I mean? Rather than saying no, then be like, okay, maybe, okay, let me just do it. No, 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 no. We need to be like, no, not doing it, not coming, not doing it, I'm not, I don't want to. Like, all of that. And be okay with it, because you have every right to say that. You do. And also saying no without guilt, it helps you open space for a yes when it does truly matter. Because when you're saying yes, 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 yes to everything, you won't know what really matters and what's really a priority. When you learn to say no to certain things, you have your boundaries, and then when something that you're, it's a hell yes, I'm gonna do that. Yes, I will be there. It will mean something even more, and it will be so, just, what's the word, heartwarming and so fulfilling, because you know you said yes to something that genuinely aligns with you, that you're happy to do, that you're happy to be in, etc., etc., etc. Next thing, in terms of raising your standards, invest in yourself like you matter. Invest in yourself like you matter. Prioritizing personal growth, learning, wellness, the whole nine, becoming her. That is you raising standards for your own self, and it's raising the bar for people who are trying to enter your life, who are already in your life, and they're seeing like, oh wow, she or he is becoming a better version of themselves. Do you know what I mean? And then, because you set up the boundaries, it stops them. For some people, I don't know, they're like little, the little flies that come when you got fruit out and it's warm. They just keep coming. No, 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 no. Shoo, shoo, shoo. We don't want those. But like, you doing you, basically, you prioritizing yourself, also shows that you got boundaries. Also shows that, you know what, this person respects themselves so much and they do their thing. This is their time. When, let me even go back to an example of when I used to go to the gym at 4 a.m. in the morning. Yes, I did that during the winter time, by the way. I don't know who I thought I was, but I did do it for quite often, for quite a while. People used to call me like 9:30, 10, 10:30, 11 at night, and I would answer the phone regardless, because I always used to think, oh my god, if it's an emergency, I need to answer the phone, Not everything's an emergency. People just want to chat. People just want to have a conversation, which I didn't mind having, you know. But when I started going to the gym that early in the morning, I needed to be in bed by 8:30 p.m. Tops 8:30. Like, people couldn't reach me. It was hard at first because I'll still answer the phone. Like, I'll wake up and then from my sleep, answer the phone, have the conversation, try go back to sleep, and then I'll be shattered the next morning, go to the gym, and then having to go to work after that. Like, I'm tired. It came to a point where I was like, I'm not answering the phone. I don't care who rings me. I am not answering the phone. I am not messaging anyone back if they've messaged me after 8:30. I put up that boundary because I just couldn't. It would affect me if I spoke to people after that time. So that's what I mean in terms of like prioritizing yourself. Also, spend time on experiences and tools to help you elevate your life, because that also raises the standard of, wow, this person values their life so much. They do such and such, they do such and such. Not that you're doing it for people to validate, for people to see you, for people to be like, oh, wow, you're doing it for yourself. But it comes across as, wow, this person really values themselves, values their life. They have standards because they're always doing this. They always play tennis at 5 a.m. or whatever it is, basically. Like, it gives you a boundary, it gives you a standard, it gives you something so that people know not to like mess with what you've got going on. That's what I'm trying to say, basically. The next point I'm going to add is to surround yourself with high standards. When I say this, I mean in terms of like the people around you, networking. Like, not, you can, hopefully somebody has a friend that's in like high places doing great. You want to be around someone like that because, one, it opens your eyes to a new life that you could possibly have for yourself, so long as it's responsible, of course, and keeps you safe. But two, it allows you to adopt the mindset of how people with higher standards for themselves have. I'm not saying copy them, I'm not saying be them, but it puts you in that space, in that environment where it's like, okay, this is how these guys roll. Okay, this is how this lot roll. I need to up my game. You know what I mean? My standards are, it shows you where your standards were before. Don't use it to compare. We're not doing comparison game. That's not what we're doing. We're seeing, again, it's an exercise where it opens your eyes, where you're like, oh my gosh, I thought this was it. This has shown me here, it's here right now, basically. So yeah, that's what I mean by surround yourself with high standards. So go to networking events if you don't have anyone in your circle that's in that space. If you want to have people in that space, again, you need to go out and network and socialize with people who are up there. You inspire to have the type of standards that they have. Not necessarily exactly the same, but you're inspired by them. Distance yourself from low vibe energy, low vibe people, low vibe environments, all of that stuff. Again, because when you're in low vibe, you're more susceptible to having lower standards because you're in such a negative vibe. You're just like, oh, whatever, yeah, okay, I'm gonna do it. Do you see what I mean? So you don't want to be in that space. So let's stay away from that and engage with mentors. Like, if there's a mentor that you can, a mentor, a coach, a life coach, whoever that you can, spend time with, definitely do it. I mean, I have clients who, they contact me, they book in for a clarity call, they want to have a conversation with me, they want to be able to, see how they can elevate themselves, and I'm there to help them with that. Details, description box if you're interested. But engage with like great communities like church, or fellowship, or just communities in general, online, in person, where you're thriving, where the standards are great, where you're just like in a good vibe, and you know that this is a place where it will elevate you so much. The last thing that helps you raise your standard, that I think will help you raise your standards, is to hold yourself accountable, boo. It's all well, doing this, point your fingers. We don't want to be doing that, but is sometimes we do. But you need to also hold yourself accountable, like daily reflection on whether your actions have aligned or not. If you slip up, you slip up. Don't beat yourself up when you slip up and go back to the standard of before. Just work from there and be like, okay, the next time, let's actually do this. Let's make sure I don't let this person do this, or I'm not in a situation that brings me to even madder situation, or I'm in an environment that, I should be in an environment that's better for me, not in an environment that's not good for me. And doing actions that align with your standards as well. And, or adjust the habits that you currently do to match someone who has higher standards for themselves. Do that. Celebrate, again, I always talk about this, celebrate the growth as well, because it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of mental and emotional energy to get to that stage where you're building boundaries for yourself, especially for someone who majority of their life it has been a people pleasing situation, has been, you know doing nice things for other people but putting themselves last. Like, you need to put yourself first and still do nice things for people rather than put yourself last and doing nice things for people, because people will walk all over you and you don't want that. So celebrate how far you've come with this process that you're building for yourself, which will help you just have a better life and better standard of living. Is that the way to say it? I don't know, but like, basically it will improve your life. Let's just say that it will improve your life. So these are the things that will help you, sis. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can get more videos from me. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, my darling.